Let's start with something close to home and build outward from there, because the only honest way to understand the scale of the universe is to walk through it step by step, letting each new distance genuinely sink in before moving to the next. If you rush this, the numbers become meaningless noise. If you take it slowly, something remarkable happens. You start to actually feel, in some small way, just how vast the universe really is. Earth is about 12,742 kilometers across. A commercial jet flying non-stop would take about a day and a half to circle it. That already feels big when you're the one sitting in economy class for that long. But Earth is, on the scale we're about to explore, essentially a grain of sand. The Moon orbits Earth at an average distance of about 384,000 kilometers. If you could drive a car there at highway speed, it would take about 6 months of non-stop driving. Light, moving at the fastest speed anything can travel in the universe, covers that same distance in about 1.3 seconds. That's how far away our closest celestial neighbor is, and it's nothing. Now let's go to the Sun. Light from the Sun takes about 8 minutes and 20 seconds to reach Earth. This means that every time you look up at the Sun, you're not seeing it as it is right now. You're seeing light that left its surface over 8 minutes ago. If the Sun somehow vanished this instant, we wouldn't know for more than 8 minutes. The distance from Earth to the Sun, about 150 million kilometers, is so fundamental in astronomy that it has its own unit, the astronomical unit, or AU. This single distance becomes our basic ruler for the rest of the solar system. Mars orbits at about 1.5 AU. Jupiter, the largest planet, sits at roughly 5.2 AU, meaning sunlight takes about 43 minutes to reach it. Saturn is at 9.5 AU. Neptune, the outermost recognized planet, orbits at about 30 AUs. Its sunlight delay is over 4 hours. And even at 30 AU, we have barely left our own solar system's front porch. Beyond Neptune lies the Kuiper belt, a vast disk of icy bodies, including Pluto, stretching out to roughly 50 AUs. Beyond that lies something even stranger, the Oort cloud, a theorized spherical shell of icy debris that may extend anywhere from 2,000 to 100,000 AUs from the Sun, meaning our solar system's true gravitational boundary, the point where the Sun's gravity finally yields to the pull of other stars, might be nearly 2 light-years away. 2 light-years, just to leave the outer edge of our own solar system's influence. This is where the astronomical unit, our reliable little ruler for the solar system, completely breaks down. The numbers become too unwieldy. So astronomers switch to a new unit, the light year, the distance light travels in 1 full year, moving at about 300,000 kilometers per second. 1 light year is approximately 9.46 trillion kilometers. Already, this single unit dwarfs anything we've discussed so far. The nearest star system to our own, Alpha Centauri, sits at about 4.37 light-years away. If you could somehow travel at the speed of the fastest spacecraft ever built, Voyager 1, currently cruising at about 17 kilometers per second, it would take you over 73,000 years to get there. The fastest thing humanity has ever launched into space would need to travel for longer than the entire span of recorded human history, several times over, just to reach our single nearest stellar neighbor. And Alpha Centauri is, relatively speaking, right next door. Our galaxy, the Milky Way, contains somewhere between 100 billion and 400 billion stars, depending on how you count the faintest and most distant ones. The galaxy itself is a flattened spiral disk, roughly 100,000 light-years across. Our Sun sits in one of the spiral arms, about 27,000 light-years from the galactic center, meaning the light reaching us right now from the supermassive black hole at our galaxy's heart left there 27,000 years ago, back when humans were still mostly hunting mammoths. To cross the Milky Way from one edge to the other, even traveling at the speed of light, which nothing with mass can actually do, would take 100,000 years. Voyager 1, our fastest spacecraft, would take roughly 1.7 billion years to traverse the same distance. And the Milky Way, as enormous as it sounds, is just one galaxy among an almost incomprehensible number of others. Let's step back further. Our galaxy is not alone. It's part of a small cluster of galaxies called the Local Group, which includes the Milky Way, the Andromeda Galaxy, the Triangulum Galaxy, and around 80 smaller dwarf galaxies, all bound together by gravity across a span of roughly 10 million light-years. Andromeda, our largest neighboring galaxy, is about 2.5 million light-years away. It's actually approaching us. on a collision course that will eventually merge it with the Milky Way, though eventually here means about 4.5 billion years from now, so there's no need to lose sleep over it. Beyond the local group lies an almost dizzying hierarchy of larger and larger structures. Our local group is part of something called the Virgo supercluster, a collection of thousands of galaxies spanning roughly 110 million light-years. And the Virgo supercluster itself is just one component of an even larger structure called Laniakea, a supercluster of superclusters, containing roughly 100,000 galaxies, spanning approximately 520 million light-years across. The name Laniakea, fittingly, means immense heaven in Hawaiian. Even Laniakea isn't the largest structure we know about. Galaxies, galaxy clusters, and superclusters are arranged throughout the universe in an enormous web-like pattern called the cosmic web, vast filaments of galaxies stretching across hundreds of millions of light-years, separated by nearly empty voids of similar size. Some of the largest filament structures identified, like the Hercules Corona Borealis Great Wall, may stretch across distances exceeding 10 billion light-years, though measurements at this scale remain difficult and somewhat contested. Now we arrive at the genuinely mind-bending part, because we have to talk about the size of the observable universe itself. And this is where intuition completely fails, and you have to trust the mathematics instead. The universe is approximately 13.8 billion years old, based on detailed measurements of the cosmic microwave background and the expansion rate of space. A natural first guess might be that the observable universe, the region from which light has had enough time to reach us, should therefore have a radius of 13.8 billion light-years. That would already be staggering, but it's wrong, and the reason why reveals something profound about the nature of space itself. The universe has been expanding this entire time. The light from the most distant objects we can observe left its source 13.8 billion years ago, but during the journey of that light toward us, the space itself has been stretching, carrying the source of that light even farther away. By the time we receive that ancient light today, the object that originally emitted it is no longer 13.8 billion light-years away. Due to the ongoing expansion of space during the light's journey, it's now estimated to be about 46.5 billion light-years away. This means the observable universe, the sphere of space from which light has had time to reach us since the beginning of the universe, has a radius of approximately 46.5 billion light-years, making its total diameter roughly 93 billion light-years. Let that number sit for a moment, 93 billion light-years. Each light-year already representing 9.46 trillion kilometers, a distance our fastest spacecraft would need tens of thousands of years to cross. Now multiply that unit by 93 billion, and you have the diameter of just the observable portion of the universe, the part we can, even in principle, ever detect with any instrument, no matter how advanced. And critically, this is just the observable universe. The actual universe, according to most cosmological models, extends considerably beyond what we can ever observe, possibly being infinite in extent. We genuinely don't know, and may never know, how big the total universe actually is, because anything beyond our cosmic horizon is, by the fundamental physics of light speed and cosmic expansion, permanently inaccessible to observation. We're not limited by our technology, we're limited by the physical structure of reality itself. There's a number embedded in all of this that's worth pulling out separately, because it deserves its own moment of contemplation: the number of galaxies in the observable universe. Estimates have shifted over time as our telescopes have improved. Early estimates, based on Hubble Space Telescope deep field observations in the 1990s, suggested the observable universe contains roughly 100 to 200 billion galaxies. More recent analyses, incorporating fainter and more distant galaxies detected by improved imaging techniques, have pushed estimates significantly higher. Some studies suggesting the true number could be as high as 2 trillion galaxies, though this remains an active area of research with considerable uncertainty. Each of these galaxies, remember, can contain anywhere from a few 100 million stars in the smallest dwarf galaxies to hundreds of billions or even trillions of stars in the largest giant elliptical galaxies. If you take even a conservative estimate, say 200 billion galaxies, each averaging 100 billion stars, you arrive at a number of stars in the observable universe that exceeds 10 followed by 22 zeros. 10 sextillion stars, give or take, scattered throughout a universe 93 billion light-years across. For context, that number of stars is significantly larger than the estimated number of grains of sand on every beach and desert on Earth combined. I want to sit with the human side of this for a moment, because the numbers alone, however staggering, can become abstract if we don't connect them back to something we can genuinely feel. Every person who has ever lived, every civilization that has ever risen and fallen, every war and discovery and quiet, ordinary life, all of it has taken place on a single planet, orbiting a single ordinary star, in one of the outer spiral arms of one galaxy, among what may be 2 trillion others, within an observable universe 93 billion light-years across, itself possibly just a small region of a universe that may be infinite. This can feel, on first encounter, deeply unsettling. A kind of cosmic vertigo, the sense that everything we care about, everything that has ever mattered to us, occupies a position of complete and total insignificance against the unimaginable backdrop of cosmic scale. But there's another way to sit with these numbers, one that I find genuinely more honest and, in its own way, more remarkable. The universe didn't have to produce anything capable of understanding its own scale. For 13.8 billion years, matter simply existed, following the laws of physics, forming stars and galaxies and planets, with no observer anywhere to measure any of it, to wonder about any of it, to feel anything about any of it at all. And then, on at least one small planet, orbiting one ordinary star, something happened that allowed matter to become aware of itself, to build telescopes, to measure the speed of light, to calculate the distance to galaxies billions of light-years away, to sit and actually comprehend, even in a limited and imperfect way, the staggering scale of the universe that produced it. That capacity, the ability to ask how big is the universe, and to actually work out a meaningful answer, may be exceedingly rare in a cosmos this vast. We don't know if it's unique, we don't know if it's common, but we know with certainty that it exists here, in us, right now, as you watch this and follow these numbers through to their almost incomprehensible conclusion. The universe is 93 billion light-years across, in its observable portion alone, and almost certainly far larger beyond that, possibly without any edge at all. And somewhere within that staggering scale, matter arranged itself precisely enough to look back at the whole of it and wonder. That, perhaps, is the most remarkable scale of all. There's one more way to think about scale that I want to leave you with, because it reframes everything we've just walked through in a way that I think is genuinely useful. When astronomers talk about the size of the universe, they're not just describing distance, they're describing time. Because of the finite speed of light, looking far away is the same thing as looking far back. When we observe a galaxy 10 billion light-years away, we're not seeing it as it exists today, we're seeing light that left it 10 billion years ago, when the universe itself was less than a third of its current age. That galaxy may have changed completely, merged with others, or evolved into something unrecognizable in the time since that light began its journey toward us. This means the universe doesn't just have a staggering spatial scale, it has a staggering temporal one too, and the two are inseparable. Every measurement of distance is also a measurement of how far back in time we're looking. The edge of the observable universe isn't just far away, it's also, in a very real sense, the edge of time itself. The boundary beyond which light simply hasn't had enough time, in the entire 13.8 billion year history of the cosmos, to reach us yet. This is why the night sky is, in the most literal sense possible, a time machine. Every star you see is a window into the past, some by minutes in the case of our sun, some by thousands of years in the case of distant stars in our own galaxy, and some by billions of years in the case of the most distant galaxies our telescopes can detect. We are not just small in space. We are small in time as well, occupying a thin sliver of the universe's 13.8 billion year history, looking outward and seeing, simultaneously, the vast spatial scale of the cosmos and the vast temporal depth of its past. And within that thin sliver, in this particular moment, on this particular planet, we built instruments precise enough to measure all of it. To calculate with genuine scientific confidence that the observable universe spans 93 billion light-years, that it contains trillions of galaxies, that it has been expanding for 13.8 billion years, and that everything we can ever observe is bounded by limits set by the very physics that allows observation to happen at all. That is not a small achievement. In a universe this vast, the fact that anything within it managed to measure its own size is, in its own quiet way, one of the most remarkable things the universe has ever produced. We are tiny, The universe is vast beyond ordinary comprehension, and somehow, against all odds, we found a way to understand exactly how vast it actually is.